In today's episode, we're going to be playing King of the Hill with 25 different rappers, and they're all aged under 30 years old. So a lot of young guns in this list for today, man. I'm excited.
It's going to be cool. It's all the next generation for the most part. But guys, let us know who you would have given the win to in the comments, and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel and you're enjoying the content. So first matchup is Yeat versus Destroy Lonely. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think that Yeat has a project as good as No Stylist. I also feel vocally, Yeat is just a bit wishy-washy to me in the sense that sometimes he sounds sort of inaudible and kind of makes the production carry him because of like how much of a precedence his production carries throughout his track list. And other times he has these voice cracks and he's sounding animated and he's has all these like ad-libs and shit.
I could argue though that at the moment Yeat's in better form, especially after the track record. So
Afterlife is not a great project.
Yeah, but
Chill.
If Looks Could Kill has a lot of filler on it, bro.
But that's both of their MO is putting out long ass albums.
I mean, even going into something like Afterlife or Life in 2022, like those are much better projects for me. I'm a bigger fan of Yeat's production as well. I do think that he brings more to the table on that end too. I prefer his ad-libs overall, and I also feel like I get a bit more out of his music than Destroy Lonely. So I'm gonna go with Yeat on this.
I'm going Destroy Lonely, and we brought in Nick in case there was one of these moments where we can't decide. So Nick, is it gonna be Yeat or Destroy Lonely?
It's gonna be Yeat.
All right, Yeat advances. Wow. How about Yeat versus Ice Spice? So this one was interesting.
Ice Spice kind of has a disadvantage though, because like she has 12 songs, and I feel like right now she's still in that phase where she's viewed more as like a meme rapper more than anything else.
There's a lot of people enjoying her music.
Problem is, bro, she has one flow, and like she has to move away from the whole like Bronx drill sound, because that's all I'm hearing from her. Every single song, that's really what it's capturing.
I guess her flow kind of plays into that, but I like the bubblegum approach to it. Like it's nice. It feels good whenever you listen to Ice Spice.
Boys a Liar Part 2 had me in a chokehold for a bit, though. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, that shit was gas.
She has her songs, and I mean, she is a decent rapper. Like I told you in one of those episodes that she was gonna have a long career, and I still think she's gonna build out her sound.
She is beating projections as of now, but I think Yeat's the better rapper. I think we can agree on that easily.
Absolutely. Okay, so Yeat's gonna advance. Yeat's making a bit of a run right now, but Yeat versus La Tyler. I mean, La Tyler's on a huge run right now.
17 years old.
His singles are absolutely going crazy right now, and like he has this kind of weird style mixed in with like an offbeat Detroit flow mixed in with like a Florida bounce, and like it's all over the place.
I don't hear the offbeat shit. I mean, absolutely. I love him more for like his laid back delivery, and honestly just how like wavy and slippery the flows are. They just sort of like come out of him so easily. And I feel like when it comes to La Tyler, he doesn't have much of a catalog either, but he has songs like Fat Racks Part 2 of Babytron where he's actually like able to keep up with one of the best rappers in terms of like bars of his generation. Not only that, but he's already young and he's already sort of forged his own style, even though it's influenced by Kodak and other guys. I prefer listening to La Tyler's music, but because of how much is out right now, I feel like La Tyler needs more time to develop. So ultimately, I guess Yeat gets it.
Yeah, Yeat is definitely going to get it.
So Yeat's going to make a fucking run here, isn't he?
Yeat's going to make a bit of a run.
It should have been loaned, bro.
I don't know. I think Yeat's going to make a bit of a run right here. But listen, let's go Yeat versus Lil Baby, and I think this is where we're going to draw the line with Yeat. I feel like Lil Baby does have a really nice catalog, excluding It's Only Me. I mean,
who's in better form right now? Because Baby dropped a stinker. Let's not lie.
I still do think, though, even on like a technicality standpoint, Baby is a better rapper than Yeat is. I know they do two completely different things, but if you have to ask me who I enjoy more on a daily basis and who's better for my rotation, I will go Lil Baby.
I have to give Yeat the production, though, in terms of the rage beats that he's bringing in and the different, like, even industrial beats that he brought in on something like Afterlife. Like, he's experimenting more with his production than Baby is, so I got to like put my cap off to that. But ultimately, it's Baby, bro.
Oh, it has to be Baby.
In terms of like bangers, in terms of albums, I mean, Harder Than Ever, looking at Street Gossip, there's so much more to Baby's catalog. So Baby moves on, and now he's faced up against Cordae. And I think Cordae gets too much flack, to be honest with you.
He does.
The Lost Boy was one of the better debut albums that we've gotten from a newer rapper from the last like 5 years or so, in my opinion.
That's fact.
Not only that, but even looking at from a bird's eye view, which was underwhelming, his skill set is still on display.
Yeah, you guys still have songs on there.
You still have Jean-Michel.
You
still have Super. Like, you still have some pretty fire songs.
I just do feel like Baby's catalog is a bit more developed, like Harder Than Ever and even My Turn. Like, you do have an impressive track record from Lil Baby. And, I mean, I understand Cordae's a lyricist, but low-key, Baby does spit, bro. Like, he goes crazy when he wants to. And, like,
Cordae has some nice hooks, too. Like, What Do You Want From Me? Or something like C. Carter. Like, he's able to play into, like, that sort of mainstream bag too, the way that Baby does in terms of like having those catchy songs? Do they translate to hits like Baby? Not always. Cordae's the better rapper on a technical level, but I think that Baby still maybe has more to offer.
He does have more to offer. There's
That's
a lot
tough.
more.
That's
I know
tough.
it's a bit tough, but I mean, like, think about it. You have Drip Harder, you have My Turn, you have Harder Than Ever. Even Street Gossip is really good. Like,
I don't want to make it seem like it's a quantity thing only, though.
it's not a quantity thing, but he does have a really nice developed catalog. If you take out It's Only Me, bro, he never missed on an album.
Yeah.
He never really missed on an album if
true.
you take out It's Only Me. So listen, I think Lil Baby's going to be advancing, but let's go on to Roddy Ricch versus Lil Baby now. And this one's interesting because Roddy hasn't been in that great of form as of recent. And I mean, Feed the Streets 3 was...
Okay.
It was okay. It was good. I mean, going back to Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, that was one of the greater rap albums for the trap lane, at least in the 2010s decade.
It's a great album.
It was
not
a really
only
nice
that, but
listen.
even going back to like old Roddy with like Feed the Streets too, bro. Like he was in this different bag. Like even looking at his duality as a singer and a rapper, I think he's more versatile than Baby is. He's also on his level in terms, not exactly on his level, but he's like that hit maker. He can make amazing, more emotional cuts, but he can also have songs that are going to go number one and that are going to be major slappers.
The only thing is that Roddy, I feel like, can't touch like Baby's like pen game and like the way that he lays down his verses.
So now it's about lyricism. It wasn't about it.
But I mean,
Cordae?
in this, well, yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from. But catalog, whose catalog would you take?
Catalog. I think Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial is better than any Baby album.
No, not better than My Turn. It's not better than My Turn, and it's not better than Harder Than Ever.
I think it's better than both those albums.
No,
but
I
the
disagree.
issue is that there's not much else that you're left with. You have obviously songs like Down Below and Die Young and other shit on Feed the Streets too, but as a whole, that's the only project that holds enough weight.
You put Please Excuse Me for
I
Being
do.
Antisocial
over
My Turn, Harder Than Ever.
Yeah.
Drip.
It would be Baby's best album to me. For
That's
sure. And I think that
crazy.
Roddy is more talented to a certain degree.
So why aren't you like? Why aren't you
I
edging
think-
with Roddy?
I think I want to edge with Roddy. The thing is,
I'm telling you,
he's
does
been
have a better
slipping
catalog.
lately, bro.
But I mean, Baby has a better catalog. Baby does have a better
He has
catalog
more.
right now.
Yeah, again, it's a question of quantity to me. Ultimately, I'm going Roddy Ricch, even though you know what? Because I know Nick's gonna give it to Baby, but Nick, just say Baby, bro.
Lil Baby.
There
There we go. All right.
That didn't really matter in the end.
Okay, Lil Baby versus Gunna.
I like this one.
This one's very interesting, okay? At first, if you would have asked me maybe around that 2017 mark, I would have given it to Lil Baby, but man, like, bro.
Oh,
Gunna,
no, you're going Gunna over Baby. I'm not.
I'm going Gunna over Baby, bro. He's way too soft.
Gunna has really, I'll be honest with you, bro. He's saucy, cool. He hasn't had a musical evolution over the last 5 years. At least when it comes to
what do you
Baby
mean?
sound, he's improved his pen game. He started making records like The Bigger Picture. He's really grown as an artist, whereas Gunna, I can turn on DS3 from 2018, or I can turn on Wanna and DS4 and sound like I'm hearing an artist from the same era. Not only that, but I feel like Baby...
But how much of an evolution do you want the guy to have in like 3 years?
Bro, Baby had an evolution in
bro,
3
I'm
fucking
sorry.
years.
No, come on. Are
He
you
did.
serious? Are
Yeah,
you, if you
okay,
take
but
My Turn...
How
if
is
you take My Turn...
where is Gunna evolved? Like, tell me.
Regardless of where he's
There
evolved,
you
bro,
go.
I mean, the projects have gotten better over time.
And the thing with Gunna's projects too is I don't feel like they lift up to Baby's stature just because it's a situation where it's like I'm pulling out
Nah, that's a
6,
bad
7
claim.
songs. I'm not listening to.
Maybe that's just you, but I know there's a lot of people invested
I
into
prefer
one.
a
And bro, Drip Season 3 is fucking crazy too. I mean, come on, bro.
There's massive bangers, but
bro,
are the album experiences? Not exactly.
No, listen, I'm not the only one in the studio right now that feels like Gunna
I know,
makes
and it's
studio
gonna be
exec-
another case that Nick gives it to Gunna. So Nick, let's hear it
Come on.
again, bro.
No, but no,
I'm sticking
I
with my
just-
guns. I'm sticking to Baby here.
No, and even at that, like if you want to go to 2022, Gunna is in better form, bro. Like there's
He's in better form right now, but
DS
overall,
Forever-
overall as an artist, I think Baby has more to offer and has given us more.
Wanna would be his best ever album. Wanna would be Baby's best ever
I think
album.
also looking at Drip Harder, Baby had a lot of the better performances on some of those songs.
Okay, that is agreeable, but I mean, even looking over time at whose sound has sounded refreshing over time, and who's had that longevity.
Bro, I'm sorry,
bro. Like people
Baby
are getting
is
people
way
are
more
getting
unique
tired.
sounding than Gunna, who leans a bit too much into the thugger flows at times. So don't tell me
No,
about
I don't
sounding
agree with you.
refreshing, bro.
How many times on the podcast have you talked about Lil Baby's flow getting boring for you, and
Of
like
course.
it just
they
getting
both
stagnant?
they both have their weaknesses,
But that's
bro.
not a problem with
I'm
Gunna
not
right
gonna
now,
say
bro.
there's
You go
no
through
issues.
DS Forever, you have songs
Anyways,
like a lot
Nick,
of
what are you saying? We're not gonna agree here.
I would have always said Lil Baby, but I gotta say Gunna now.
Absolutely, bro.
Wow.
Gunna's in a better track record right now.
He is.
For right now, but I think overall, Baby is the more impressive artist. But we have Gunna now versus Jack Harlow, and I'll be honest with you. I don't think that Jack Harlow is as good of a rapper as he thinks he is, bro. And he's proved it because he's only put out a handful of decent songs within the last 2 years. Out of 2 albums that we've gotten, every time that he goes for the storytelling approach, or if he goes for that lyrical approach where he's going...
That's what they all say was a very decent project, though.
Yeah, that was 2020, though.
It was,
I meant the last 2 albums. That's what they all say was pretty okay, but I just feel like even
Jackman was a good
I'm just
release.
saying, like, Jack Harlow, when it comes to the pop shit, is not good. When it comes to the lyrical stuff, anytime he's next to a formidable MC like a Drake, like a Big Sean, like a Cordae, he gets out-rapped.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't agree with your pop claim all that way, just because, like...
Don't include what's popping in Tyler Hero and the bangers, because that's his lane.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that his biggest songs are some of the best that he has in his catalog.
But look at the more love-related ones, and don't tell me that Come Home, the Kids Miss You, shit like First Class, and like Poison, and...
Like a Braid of Glass. Yeah, no, I understand.
Trap, come on.
No, I understand where you're coming from. Actually, Parent Trap low-key grew on me.
Stop it.
I know it's like
Stop it right now.
It's like a guilty pleasure sort of song. No, but we're going Gunna on this. Yeah, no, we're going to go Gunna.
We're going to go Gunna on this.
Okay, Gunna versus NBA Youngboy. Listen, I think, you know, AI Youngboy 2 was a really nice release. It was cool. There's bangers on it. But overall, man, like this whole formula of dropping like 30-song projects every single like quarter just hasn't been working for me, man. I feel like it's oversaturated. He's running out of ideas stylistically. His latest release was just full of Carti and Trippie Redd flows, and it really wasn't sounding that
great.
Actually,
he put out another album since then. And I think 2 other projects, and so that's how often he drops. Like, I know what you're talking about. I'll pull up the name of that album, but he's put out 2 albums since the one that you're talking about with like
what
the Rage beats. So he has the one you're thinking of is called "I Rest My Case." He put out "Don't Try This at Home," and then there's another mixtape. So yeah, bro, he's just always dropping. And I think that NBA Youngboy right now is one of the worst rappers in the game. I know it's a hot take.
Wow,
I think
crazy.
That he puts out 20 songs.
He's not one of the he's not one of the worst rappers in the game.
In terms of mainstream rappers, I think he's one of the worst in the game because out of 25 song track list, maybe find 1 hit, 2 hits. You find him screaming all over the mic. You find really awful mixing. You find him kind of leashing onto certain trends and cliches within the genre. It's Gunna, bro. Let's not have more of a conversation.
No, it is Gunna, but he's not one of the worst in the genre.
He's one of the worst rappers, mainstream rappers in the game to me.
That's very interesting.
Gunna versus Polo G. I'm going Polo G on this one, even though Hall of Fame was not great too great of a record.
What's the disrespect to Gunna in this episode?
Bro, because Polo G can do everything that Gunna does, but better. And he also has more of that lyrical side to him.
He does what Gunna does, but better? Bro, there's no way Polo G's flow even touches Gunna's flow. We're going to start with that right now. If you want to talk about the production, Gunna has 50
I'm talking about skills on the mic, bro. I'm talking about flows. I'm talking about delivery. I'm talking about bars.
Bro, Polo G excels in that projects. Polo G has 2 good projects in comparison to Gunna, who has a full-fledged discography.
You're making it seem like Gunna has a Kanye West level discography.
No, but in comparison to Polo G, come on, are you serious, dude? Guy dropped in 2021 with Hall of Fame, and it was a complete...
For this one, I won't complain because Polo G has been out of form. I'll give it to Gunna, but I could have gone the other way too.
He's way too one-dimensional to even play with Gunna, bro. He doesn't have the hits that he has. He can't even stand next to Gunna, bro.
I can't believe Gunna's making this kind of run. It should have been Baby. But anyways, we have Gunna versus Polo G. He's going to advance. Now Gunna versus Lil Yachty. Is there a conversation to be had? I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's Gunna over
I think
Lil
it's going to be Gunna over Yachty, to be honest.
I mean, a lot of people do fuck with Yachty's sound, and they do enjoy the Boat series. And I mean, even with Let's Start Here, I mean, it kind of brought this whole different artistic evolution to Yachty's playbook, which I really did enjoy. But overall, man, Gunna's making better music than Lil Yachty. That's for sure.
I agree. Next up, we have Gunna versus Don Toliver. And I feel like as of late with Don Toliver's projects, he hasn't really sort of peaked the way that we wanted him to peak. And he's sort of falling into that bucket of kind of only popping out as a feature artist. And I feel like that's almost how he's distinguishing himself now. But when he has those killer performances, they're amazing. Like, if you were to put up like Don T's best performances up against Gunna's best performances, you might have a couple that edge out Gunna's, but overall, output-wise, I think Gunna wins.
Oh, absolutely. Especially after Lovesick. But Life of a Don was decent, though. It was actually a good record. Like, I still go back to it.
It's grown on me well.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Heaven
but I mean,
and Hell, too.
Yeah, he has his stuff, but I do feel like he does save his best performances for the features, though. You know, and that may or may not be a problem. You know, maybe that's what he's going for, and that's the way that he's trying to develop his career out. But yeah, Gunna definitely has better output. So Gunna is going to advance. Then Gunna versus Trippie Redd.
Okay, I mean, yeah, when it comes to Trippie Redd, I mean, I feel like he's just past his heyday. He's someone that kind of peaked early. He was sort of at the forefront of a couple of different scenes when it comes to that emo rap scene, when it comes to even the rage scene, what he did with a song like Mr. Rage and how that took that sort of production style and made it go fucking out of here. He's been important to hip-hop. He's put out great albums like Life's a Trip, as well as Love Letter to You series.
He has a nice discography, but
he's been on a downhill trend.
It's been a downwards trend, and I do feel like right now he has to switch it up for maybe a new flow or maybe something stylistically that he could bring to the table. Also, I do feel like some of his projects are a bit bloated. Like you go through his albums, and as maybe the case you made for NBA Youngboy, you only grab like 1 or 2 songs out of there. I mean, that's maybe a hot take for some people, but that's just how I feel about Trippie's albums. And I do think that Trippie is a better vocalist than Gunna is, but I don't think that anyone on this list is low-key touching Gunna's flow, bro.
No one on this list?
Maybe towards the end, but I do think that Gunna has one of the nicest and cleanest flows in the entire industry, bro. He does. Absolutely
I think you're overrating Gunna a little bit. But next up, we have Gunna versus Playboi Carti, and finally we can get Gunna off of this, right?
Yeah, Gunna's going to have to dip for this one. I mean, Playboi Carti does have a super tight discography. Each and every single one of his albums have been super influential to the way that the modern hip-hop scene has of formed out to be. Also, I do feel like Playboi Carti has a bit more range than Gunna when it comes down to, you know, his style and what he's able to deliver. I do like his album experiences more, so I'm going with Playboi.
And it's also a case of, like, if Gunna and Playboi Carti drop an album on the same day, who are you going to be more excited to listen to? Like, Playboi Carti really has his own aura and his own identity, bro. I feel like as an artist, like there's no one in the game that can be compared to Carti. Even though he has certain clones, I don't think anyone compares. Next up, though, this is one of the best matchups we've had. It's Playboi Carti versus Lil Uzi Vert.
This one's very interesting.
This is a tough one, bro.
This one is a tough one.
This is one that, like, even going into this now, like, as we talk, I'm going to find my answer. But, I mean, when it comes to projects, I think that obviously Uzi has put out more work.
The Perfect Love Tape, Love is Rage 2, Lil Uzi Vert versus The World. I mean, he has been on an incredible stretch of albums. I mean, Eternal Atake grew on us. That's another thing, too. I mean, it's cool, and you're down to hear what he has next. I do think, though, it's hard because they do 2 completely different
Carti
things.
has better production. We can give Carti the production side of things.
Does he really, though?
I think so, bro.
Does he really, though?
Of course. When you're looking at what Pierre Bourne's done from, when you're looking at what Art Dealer's done,
like, yeah.
those are 3 amazingly produced. You had Harry Fraud producing on Self-Titled, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
His ear for curation,
his ear for beats.
Absolutely. Okay, so maybe Carti in that regard.
Carti. In terms of as a vocalist, obviously Uzi has more range because his singing is obviously way better.
Not only that, but he's a better rapper. I feel like
Carti has different voices that he can tap into, and they're all super interesting. Even the baby voice, hate it or love it, it's super interesting to listen to.
It does grab your ear, but I feel like sometimes it isn't executed upon the best, and you saw that a bit on Whole Lotta Red towards certain tracks. So I do want to give it to him as an addition, but I just don't think that it is the strongest thing in his arsenal. I mean...
I'm going Playboi Carti.
You're going to go with Carti on this one. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you with Carti. Yeah, because I could go either way with this one, but ultimately I think I would go with Carti.
Okay.
Let's go Carti versus Kodak Black. So, I mean, are we going to have any hot takes here? I mean, you and I are big Kodak Black fans. We've been listening to him for a while. He has incredible albums, like really, really, really good studio experiences. And I just feel like he hasn't been up to par as of late, to be honest with you.
I think the thing with Kodak Black is that he's the one guy in hip-hop that you can never count out. Like, anytime, if it's him going to jail, if it's him taking a hiatus, whatever it is, he'll always come back and deliver a smasher. The only thing is that when it comes to those album experiences, I feel like he hasn't really had anything that's had much of a punch since Painting Pictures, where you had great songs, great hits. You had, obviously, Project Baby 2 also that was amazing, where you had that introspective Kodak. As of late, though,
Big Puck as well, going back to 2016.
He has great projects, but it's been a minute, I feel like, since we've gotten a really solid Kodak album. And I just feel like Playboi Carti, again, is the more interesting, more consistent artist in comparison to Kodak.
Absolutely. I do feel as of late, I would probably gravitate more towards Playboi Carti's sound, but I mean, Kodak's hard, though. Kodak's fucking fire. Kodak definitely has a lot to play with. But let's go on to Chief Keef, because this guy's a fucking legend. I mean, if you guys haven't listened to Chief Keef's music yet, I mean, you've probably been living under a rock. He's the definition of peaking early, but being able to be consistent and being able to continue to drop quality project after quality project. And
for the most part, we're not going to say all his projects are heat, bro.
But let me finish the sentence. I'm not saying everything is heat, but even going back to, let's say, 2021 with Fornum, that was a really good trap record. Like, he's a decade into his career and he's still dropping good studio album experiences. He has the influence. He has the style down packed. He's fucking Chief Keef.
Are you taking him off over Carti?
It's like...
I don't think so. Just because, like, the one area where I could see Chief Keef advancing is in, like, the scenario where you have, let's say, a versus battle and you're putting up Chief Keef's best ever songs versus Carti's best ever songs. Maybe Chief Keef gets him there, but as of late, as the years have progressed, I just feel like Playboi Carti has been able to sort of keep developing and keep making your head turn.
Yeah, but Chief Keef around that 2012 to 2013 area, that's where he peaked.
I know.
Carti peaked around that 2017
But Carti is still
area.
peaking, though, to the fans. To me, Cash Carti era is the better side of Carti's music, but Carti just keeps making that effort, bro, to sound unique, to change up the style. I feel like
Chief Keef does do that in certain
and I
regards,
also feel like overall, song for song, I probably would go with more Carti music than
I
Chief
would
Keef.
too, but the thing is too is that Chief Keef also has the producer.
So what's
side
your
to him.
answer?
What's my answer here? This one's tough. I mean, I really do hold Chief Keef to a super high regard because of the catalog and the influence. I mean, he's birthed a whole new generation of rappers.
Whole fucking subgenre.
I think I'm gonna go. Playboi Carti with
Playboi
this one, just
Carti
as
over
of
Chief
late.
Keef.
You know, because that's been the treatment I've been giving everyone else on this list as of late.
I feel like we've been considering everything, but next up, I'm happy we did that because it makes for a more interesting matchup now. Playboi Carti versus Baby Keem.
I'm gonna go Baby Keem. I think Baby Keem's a better rapper than Playboi Carti is. I prefer.
But you see, this is where I don't understand what the fuck you're doing, because a lot of the arguments for all these other matchups had a lot to do with catalog. And when you're looking at Baby Keem's catalog, you cannot put up his mixtapes up against Carti's catalog. Yes, you have the Melodic Blue, but I don't even think you can tell me the Melodic Blue is a better album than Self-Titled or Die Lit.
The Melodic Blue is on the level of a Self-Titled or Die Lit. It is. It really is. Absolutely. Stylistically, the unpredictability factors there. He is a better writer than Playboi Carti is. I will give him that.
That's not Carti's, like, forte,
I know it's
you
not his MO, but listen, it is something that he does have over him. And even when he wants to get into more of his simplistic bag where he's just trying out flows and melodies, he is there. I mean, if you had to ask me who I'd rather have drop this year, I'm more anxious to hear Baby Keem than I am for Carti. I'm being honest with you.
I'm more interested in hearing Carti. I think that Baby Keem also succeeds in the same ways that Carti does in terms of being super eccentric on the mic, having these different voices he can bring in, having these crazy unpredictable flows. I think that as a writer and rapper, Baby Keem might be better. But again, in terms of production, in terms of catalog, I go Playboi Carti. Ultimately, I think that Baby Keem could surpass Carti, but as of right now, as of today, Playboi Carti. I'm
going Baby Keem with
all
this
right,
one.
Nick,
The Melodic
what are you
Blue was
saying?
too strong.
Nick's been quiet this episode, but what are you saying, bro?
I agree. As of today, it's Playboi Carti.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Playboi Carti is going to be advancing, but this is where things are going to start getting dicey because we have some serious rappers now.
Yes, we do.
This is like the final boss round. Like, this is where things are going to start getting tough for Playboi Carti. So Carti versus Vince Staples, bro. Like, I don't think there's a single debate here.
I
right?
think that Vince Staples is gonna have to move on.
Yeah, I
totally
mean,
different, like, sizes.
someone that's watching this video right now is gonna be like, "What the fuck are these guys doing? What do you mean right now?" Like, but yeah, it is that easy for me. I'm being honest with you. Ramona Park Broke My Heart, fantastic album. Self-Titled, fantastic album. FM, fantastic album. Like, he's dropping contenders for top 10 albums of the year every single year consistently. Even stylistically, you've seen that he's had an evolution. Going back to Ramona Park Broke My Heart, it was a lot more melodic and free and breezy from Vince Staples, where, let's say you go on to something like Self-Titled, it's a lot more centric into his rap flows and him, you know, getting those types of deliveries on, let's say, on something like a Lil Fade or even Law of Averages. So yeah, I'm ultimately going Vince Staples.
I'm going Vince Staples. Enough said there. Next up, though, we have Vince Staples up against Earl Sweatshirt. This is more of a fun comparison because they both sort of have similar fan bases. They have both made projects that display amazing lyricism. They both are great rappers, both great MCs, both have great collaborations together too. Ultimately, I think that when it comes to Earl Sweatshirt, he is, you know, a great artist in terms of his rhyme schemes and on a technical level, but Vince Staples just adds a bit more flavor. I think that he has bouncier hooks, more feel-good songs, and
brings a lot more energy to a track.
A catalog that's more diverse.
But the thing is, though, is that Earl does have like masterpieces in his catalog. That's the thing. Well, I'm not sure masterpieces, but amazing albums.
Yeah,
I think
that's more fair to say.
But there are people that do consider some of his albums masterpieces.
Yeah, I know.
Example, like some rap songs, people think
or Doris. I know.
some of the best experimental material that you'll hear in the genre. I just think that if I had to take a bit of that lyrical miracle stuff off of Earl for the accessibility for Vince Staples, I would do it. I'm being honest with you. I do think Earl's a better lyricist and better with the technicality factor, but
who makes better music?
I think
Vince Staples can make anthems. He can make club bangers with shit like Senorita. He can make those deep introspective cuts. He can rap his ass off. Whatever it is, he's there. He's able to do it. More in his arsenal. So we have Vince Staples moving on up against Red Veil now. And Red Veil has really blown me away over recent years. When you look at Learn to Swim, that cracked my top 10 albums of the year list. When you look at someone that is really a DIY example, someone that's in that league or is going to be in that league of the Kanyes and the Tylers and the Earl Sweatshirts, you have someone like a Red Veil.
You think he's going to end up there? Like, that's the trajectory you have?
That's the projections I have. He's so talented, bro. Like,
and he's so young, too.
He's so young. He's talented. He has an amazing ear for beats. He's someone that is even mature beyond his years when you look at his pen game. But he's not at Vince Staples' level. We can't put him there.
We can't. He still has a lot to do. But yeah, like you said, when it comes to the total package as an artist, like, he's really there. And I'm so amazed that he absolutely takes care of his entire sound. I never really knew that until last year. So shout out to Red Veil, but man, I'm not sure. I think Red Veil still has some work to do. But let's do this one.
Gonna get these next couple of matchups, guys, I'm telling you.
All right, okay, let's do Vince Staples versus Denzel Curry. I think that both of these rappers are in impeccable form right now. But if you look at the years that they've dropped together. So let's say 2022, Melt My Ice Your Future versus Ramona Park. If you go to 2018, with something like a
FM versus Taboo.
I do feel like he genuinely does have the edge over him. Stylistically, I do think that Denzel could do more, whether it's, let's say, the rage and metal sort of aesthetic that he brings to a track, or even the R&B covers that he's doing right now, and the stuff that he was doing with a live jazz band for his deluxe album, To Melt My Ice Your Future. There is a lot of quality there that I feel like Vince doesn't necessarily tap into, but Denzel does tap into. So, I mean, even as a lyricist, I do go Denzel over Vince, but what do you got on
that
this
one's tough. In terms of lyricism and in terms of like making these super intentional projects that have that singular vision, they both like really excel at that. Two amazing catalogs. Like, both of them have near flawless catalogs to me. So it really is a tough one for me. I'm going to have to go with Denzel ultimately just because of the mic presence, bro. I feel like Denzel can be more active. He could be louder. He could be even more subdued when he wants to be. I just feel like the versatility goes a long way for Denzel as an MC, as a rapper, and as an artist. So Denzel takes the cake.
I think Denzel's going to have to go against this one.
But now we have Denzel Curry versus Joey Badass. And let me ask you this. I think we could both agree that in current day form, Denzel is in better form. He's showing more evolution as an artist. But you think overall Joey beats him?
Do I think he beats him overall? I don't think Denzel has a project as good as 1999. I will say that. I think that's fair to say.
Okay, but that's one project. What about the whole catalog?
Well, I mean, Before the Cash is just as strong, in my opinion, in comparison to something.
I probably put it over I probably put a Taboo over it, to be honest.
I will put that, but I will put Before the Cash over something like Imperial. Then you get into something like All American Badass. That's right there with Taboo for me. I'm being completely honest with you. That's a fantastic project, incredibly executed. The political
Does All
writing
American go up against Melt My Eyes though?
No, I'm not.
So.
I'm not sure. Well, yeah, really, you think so?
Yeah, I think Melt My Eyes is a better album.
I'd have to go back. Like, you have some serious tracks on there. You have Legendary on there. You have Rockabye Baby on there. You have Devastated. There's a lot of Joey's biggest songs on there as far as like his skill set and like displaying that goes. But I'll ultimately go with Denzel Curry just because of the current form right now. I do think.
But overall, who would you go though? That was my question.
Overall, like, who do I prefer as an artist? Like, I'm a massive Joey Badass fan. I'd probably go Joey over Denzel.
I think
like,
Denzel overall has to be the lock.
I think that over time,
even in terms of influence too, bro, what he's done with Raiders Clan, what he's done to bring up SoundCloud. Not only that,
but I mean, you're completely ignoring the entire pro era movement that went on in New York. Like,
I'm not ignoring the pro era movement. I mean, he definitely revitalized hip hop in terms of its traditional form. But I just feel like Denzel's contributed to more.
I completely disagree with you. Absolutely not. I mean, looking at what Joey Badass was doing in the early 2010s with his stuff, Listen, I'm gonna ultimately go Joey Badass with this one.
Okay,
Nick,
so Nick's
have?
gonna have to come in here.
Who do you
It's
have?
super close, but I think if you were to take current form, it's Denzel for sure.
All right.
So
Okay, so Denzel is
Denzel
going to
go to the
one.
finals versus Dave. And I think it was cool to put Dave here because when you look at the list of rappers under 30, he's easily at the top of that list, bro. Like, he's in that upper echelon. He's put out 2 great albums, in my opinion, with Psychodrama and We're All Alone in This Together. I think my only issue with Dave is that he often has, and this is probably a take that not a lot of people like share, but his approach to a lot of his songs is often similar in the sense that the way he attacks the beat in terms of his vocals, it's always like melodramatic. I feel like he always tries to like over dramatize a lot of like.
But I like that too.
It's cool because
it's super
there's
nice
a lot of
and
deep
dynamic.
shit in there,
Absolutely.
but I'm always getting the same feeling when I'm pressing play on a lot of Dave's tracks.
I don't agree with you. You go through Psychodrama and then you go through We're All Alone in This Together, and they're 2 completely different albums as far as
I never
approach
said
and
that. I didn't say they were copy albums. I said the approach that he gives to songs on a lot of stuff from We're All Alone in This Together, for instance, especially that album. You have that same feeling and essence in terms of his delivery and the way that he's approaching those beats.
You see, ultimately I'm going to go with Denzel Curry.
Denzel Curry
I think
wins.
Denzel Curry, but I don't agree with you. I do think that Dave does have that unique flavor that he brings to every single track, and like that's his MO. You know, that's his sauce. Is that deep, profound lyricist that's able to also make club bangers.
To me, as a listener, it gets redundant. Like the feeling of like, oh, it's melodramatic again. It's like, okay, I get it.
Okay, well, example, like compare like a Wanna Know to a Leslie. Like those are 2 completely different performances.
That's not an album cut though. That's a Drake song.
But you're saying,
you know what I mean?
No, that's
I'm
not a
talking
Drake song.
about
He released
Dave's
that before
catalog.
he released that
I
before the
know,
Drake
bro, but it
feature.
was different. It was separate from any track list. I'm talking about when you look at his album.
I just think you need to maybe go a bit deeper on Dave's catalog to make that claim,
I've gone through both of his like albums, bro.
I know, but he's also released stuff prior to that. So I mean, listen, I don't completely agree with you on the Dave take, but guys, let us know in the comment section. Out of all these rappers, who would win this King of the Hill? Thank you guys so much for watching this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.